Hey everybody,
Hi,
that's Chris. I'm Ed.
Ed.
And it's another beautiful day, so we're going to taste wine. That's what we do here at Old North State. We not only produce it, we drink it. And we drink wines from all over the world. This is our Thursday night tasting club, virtual for all of those that are not quite ready to get back out into the fold. The vaccines are coming, man.
Shots in arms every day.
It's a great thing.
Yeah, they're doing almost since the 1st of January, we're averaging over 1 million a day.
That's good.
Across the country.
That's real good.
Yeah, January 2nd on, it was the lowest day, I think, was like 800,000. But most of them be either 1 million, 1.6 million every single day.
That's beautiful. And
won't take long.
Before you know it, this will all be just ancient history, and we'll be drinking together again.
Amen.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to
we
that.
need something to cheers with. Isn't this a fancy little package of tissue? That's got to cost an extra $1 right there.
Anytime you get a case of wine, you open it up and they're all tissue wrapped, you just feel like you got something special. It's an immediate upgrade.
Immediate upgrade. So we are going to start off with a beautiful Chardonnay. And this is a 2018. It's actually really limited production. Only 2,000 cases were made. This is from Polenta. And if you have not, well, let's see, I got a bit of a glare there. Sorry, folks. Let's see if I can get that a little more focused. Ooh, there it is. We're having a beautiful sunshiny day today up here, and it's our, I guess we're lucky it's been cloudy and gloomy, so actually that'll kind of help us really see what we have in the glass here. So this is a beautiful 100% Chardonnay. It is high altitude. It's 3,200 feet above sea level in Argentina.
I thought you meant they just made it on the second floor.
Right. No, that's where we drink. So. Yes.
Of course.
Mm. And this is a real treat, one of those value treats. It's a mere $17. And typically, we don't expect to see prices like that for Chardonnays, especially Chardonnays you'd want to drink.
Well, and
on a side note, I just had a Chardonnay before we came up here. I was doing some tastings. But yeah, that's basically what I do. And I swore to God up and down, it was a Pinot Grigio, and it was a Chardonnay. It was so
dry.
Well, it was just
bright. Awful.
Just wasn't. It wasn't a Chardonnay. You know what I mean? It just didn't have all the oomph that a Chardonnay should have.
And we a sample.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe it was a Pinot Gris.
Yeah, I guess it could. So
yeah, send them this.
What I'm trying to say is there's a lot of bad Chardonnays out there, and you have to be mindful. Usually, price points that are low is for a reason. Now, this is an exceptional value, and I can assure you that it's worth every single penny. Notice right off the bat here, beautiful. It screams tropical. It also, I would say it has a hint of minerality here, which I wouldn't typically expect from Argentina. But I think it's because the high altitude that does help showcase more of the earth rather than the fruit. Now, another great thing about this is it does see French oak. As a matter of fact, it actually has barrel fermenting, which is another extra layer of high quality in my estimation. You know, whenever someone takes the chances of fermentation in the barrel, it's a riskier process, more laborsome, and when they do that, it tells me that they are taking their wines very seriously. And this
is also, I mean, it shows their devotion because barrel fermenting is not pour it and forget it. I mean, you're checking on it. I mean, so a lot of big places, I mean, you know, it's pour and forget, and you know, check on it, you know, in the fall.
That's the case for stainless steel for the most part. Yeah.
It's a labor of love. I think it goes back to the small batch production.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they can baby their wines.
Yeah. And again, to have this kind of attention to detail at a price point like this is just phenomenal. Now they are a great family of winemakers. They started in the early 2000s. They're about 19, 20 years in now, and their experience is just getting, they're showcasing the qualities of their wine are getting better and better, but the price tags have not really increased. They do have some Malbecs that are drinking much higher price points, but that's not surprise. That is their flagship grape for this winery. But with that being said, they do have about 8 or 9 different varietals, and you can get a really good value at any price point with this winery. And I really do enjoy it. Now, I want to mention too that 50% of this wine was fermented in stainless steel, and the purpose of that is to not lose the identity of the Chardonnay. So many times, what happens with particularly with barrel fermented wines, they become another wine, which is purposeful. You're going to get malolactic fermentation in there. It's going to be rounding off the acidities, and it's also going to create some different flavor profiles. And sometimes I can get away from the actual Chardonnay flavors. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but there are Chardonnays out there, and we at the chef's table, we identify Chardonnays typically that we're pairing with that we want them to be more in lines of what Chardonnay tastes like. Not what the winemaker wanted the wine to taste like.
So, I mean, you're buying around a lot of labels.
Right.
That,
we like those. We're drinking them, but not
for pairing purposes. That's a real.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and
So the end. What I was trying to say there was not to sidetrack too much, but when you fold the two back together, now you have the benefits of the malolactic barrel fermentation, in addition to the nice, lean, assertive, clean Chardonnay flavor that the vineyard was trying to express. So you have the expression of the vineyard and the expression of the winemaker, and then they're harmoniously put together. It's a labor of love, and I think it's wonderful.
It's delicious, and mallow is kind of like sauce. The idea of pairing a sauce with a food is to complement the food, not to overshadow it. And so, the reintroduction there really helps bring it back to what, like you're saying, what it's supposed to be. But the sauce makes it better. But you don't want to say it's just duck or beef.
Yeah. That makes all the sense in the world, Chef. That's a great analogy. And as a chef, I understand what you're talking about. And there's something to be said about having a lighter hand at things. I mean, and winemaking has grown so much over the last 20, 30 years. It's just phenomenal what's gone on in the world of winemaking. And we were constantly stretching wine to its limits. So it's also nice to know that we don't have to live out at the edge. We don't have to live at the extremes. But it helps us understand that somewhere in the middle is a really nice spot. You don't have to be black or white. You can be gray. And that could be a light gray or a dark gray or whatever kind of gray. You can battleship gray, whatever it's called. But there are different shades. And somewhere in there is your palate and what your palate likes the most. And I do like those kind of heavily oaked Chardonnays when I'm sitting down having conversations with people, just drinking that wine.
Well, your palate needs more because it doesn't have anything else to complement it. When you're having hors d'oeuvres or food or what have you, I mean, you have these competing influences on your palate. But when you're drinking sip after sip after sip without an intervention, you need to be a little bigger.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
And it's almost, I was kidding around with someone just the other day about wine as a meal replacement. And it was because it was a big, chewy wine, and it felt filling. And there's a lot of wines out there, and they're fun, and they're delicious, and they're what I would consider chewy. I think a lot of people would agree with that. But there's no right or wrong. There's just all these expressions, and we're trying to bring to you all these different expressions. But right now, this is the style that I'm in love with personally, and I think that food connoisseurs appreciate a wine that is delicious but not overbearing.
Well, it's a much more versatile tool in your repertoire for a wide variety of things because you don't have to worry about it steamrolling your afternoon or your meal, your snack, or, whatever it may be. But God, you're absolutely right. I mean, there's some wines you drink and they're an absolute suppressant. Where some wines are really mouth-watering and you can't wait to eat, and you're excited. And some wines, I mean, you could be hungry and it's just like cold water on it. And you're
Right.
saying, no, I'm good. I don't want to eat.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just so delicious you don't want anything. For me, sometimes when I'm having a really good wine, I'm not real eager to eat right away because I'm just enjoying it so much. I'm not ready for that intersection.
Right.
Because it's really speaking to you.
We're in January. In January, because some people have a dry January. I think that's.
Hey, have you ever heard anything more ridiculous?
I think that's a little bit on the.
Of all months.
That can be self-detrimental in some ways, but.
I mean, what month would you do?
Could you imagine your fuse? It's already pretty short.
It's really short. Really short. It's really short.
Yeah,
but I mean, what is there to look forward to in January other than wine?
One of the things that I would say most sane people, let's leave off the dry January people who consider them the fringe, but people do count their calories a lot in January. They're trying to kind of we just got through the holidays and I've been munching like crazy, and people start counting calories. And we were talking about wine as a meal replacement. I understand that wine's only about 600, 650 calories a bottle.
Nothing. That's nothing.
That's about that's a meal replacement, right?
Yeah. So I'm deriving.
It's made from fruit.
I'm deriving 2/3 of my allotted caloric intake suggested.
You get 2,000, dude.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's only a third. Oh, you're going 2 bottles.
One bottle is like dry January to me. I mean, if I had a bottle of wine,
dry January is half.
That's me. Dry January. I just had a bottle yesterday, and that would be considered my dry January.
Yeah, kudos to you, sir. Proud of you. Well, anyway,
my mama didn't raise a quitter.
Beautiful wine. If you want a nice Chardonnay that you can keep around for your beloved friends who drink whites, as long as you don't want to spend an arm and leg on them, this is the one.
Although
for
it
you.
will impress them.
And it's very limited production, which also I think kind of makes it kind of special. They're not going to see it out and about. $17, you can't beat that price. Also, we have twist offs. So
and what an amazing
easy to
emerging area for Chardonnay.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Chardonnays. If you haven't been getting Chardonnays from Argentina, they're consistently
they don't
better.
pop up when you're thinking about it.
Yeah,
but
Catania was the first Chardonnay that I really fell in love with, and we just had one of their $90. Well, it was $9 wholesale. It would go for
almost 200.
Yeah, almost 200. It was a very what was it called? White bones
or something like that. I'd call it delicious.
It was stunning. It was stunning, and it was a Chardonnay from Argentina.
Lime. I don't know. It didn't taste like wine. It tasted like, I don't know. It's going to sound weird. I mean, it's like if you could make something before you started.
Right.
I mean, how does that just? I don't know. It was ridiculous.
Kudos to the Catania family for making these beautiful ones.
And their siblings.
Maybe we should do a show of just the $200 wines, Chef.
Okay. Can we do it in a few minutes?
All right, so this is a Syrah, often called Shiraz in South Africa, but they chose to call it Syrah.
Thank you.
And this is from the coastal region. If you don't know the coastal region, the West Cape is where most people would associate winemaking in South Africa, and it is broken down in different regions, and the coastal region accounts, it's on the western side of the Cape, and just like you would expect, it's on the coast, and it accounts for about half of the production. Now, this is, I would say it's a startup, but it's now about 19, 20 years in the making, and they're making over 250,000 cases a year, and very interesting. They named their wine MAM, their winery rather. There's 3 gentlemen, 2 brothers, and one of the best winemakers in South Africa. He owns and runs and operates another winery, and he joined forces with these two brothers. And instead of fighting over the name of what the winery should be called, they just used their wives' first initial. And so they figured, well, MAN, that would cover our bases. We'll keep the wives happy because it's named after our beautiful wives. But these three guys have done a lot, and the amazing thing is that their wines are so approachable in price. This again is another darling at $14. So as you'll see here, they've got their little. This is supposedly what it looks like looking off the vineyards. They have a sheep pasture right beside them, and this is the kind of the view that they have off the vineyard. So there is a little bit, it is labeled as Syrah, but I just wanted to tell you that they did add about 6% Cinsault and a little bit of Mourvedre, maybe 2 or 3%. So technically by law they can call it Syrah, but they did disclose that they added. So this is kind of the kind of blend that you would expect from maybe the Southern Rhone.
Southern Rhone, those are all Frenchies.
Yeah, and again, Shiraz / Syrah has always done very well in South Africa. We had Cedarburg here to do a wine tasting, or actually a wine dinner.
Top to bottom, great wines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the whole portfolio.
That was their Shiraz was banging. Mm-hmm. It was really nice. And this is a more moderate price one, but boy, the bang you get for the buck here, Chef.
Well, I mean, it's a staggering value on this. We were talking off camera while the production crew was getting set up.
Yeah, the production crew. Makeup.
We were talking about pricing, and you know, I buy a lot of wine at the store and here and there, and you know, there's just nothing good out there at this price point. I mean, it's stuff that's drinkable.
Yeah.
Nothing good. And, you know, it's such a quantum leap between, you know, in the area of $14, blind buying.
Yeah.
Even if it has even if it has a little sticker, a little rating. 88 points from this, you know, and the
that
Hall River Catfish Association rated at 89, and
yeah, I really trust them.
Consistency.
The Hall River Catfish.
Well, you know, everybody, you can get a rating.
Yeah.
You just Google it and you can get a rating. But
dude. That's what we're going to do.
That's what we're going to do.
We are going to give ratings as long as the price is right.
The price is right.
So
send your wine to us. We'll taste
rate
it. We'll rate it. We'll talk about it.
You'll be highly acclaimed in the wine world.
And just be prepared for your newfound fame.
Do you just want to stick with that Hall River Catfish Association?
Well, I don't think
that's a really catchy name.
Well, I don't think we're technically in their organization, so we can't.
I thought we were going to make it.
I think the one actually exists.
Oh, darn.
So we'll have to be. I
don't want any conflict of interest.
We'll do some research on that, but yeah.
There's a lot of crummy wines out there that are rated.
There's so
what Chef's
many
trying to say.
bad rated $14. You know, anything from $10.99 to $14.99 is pretty much trash. And even if you find a good one, it'll stay at that price point for 3.2 days, and you come back to get it, and it's $22.50.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, that happens all the time.
True.
And
you gotta wait for the next sale.
You gotta wait for the next
price that
sale.
it's worth.
And anyway, I mean, this is just all day long.
Well, talking about the actual nose on this and the palate on this, it's got that beautiful, what I would consider Northern Rhone style Syrah. It's very roasted. And we were talking about this just the other day, Chef. We were describing a Syrah. And it's not a toast, because toast comes from a charred barrel. And they are very similar. You know, when you think of toast or toasted, you know, like especially like on Pinot, because to me it shows when it hits oak, it shows more toast.
Especially the higher end Pinots, very toasty.
And we had a Syrah, I believe it was at the chef's table, or we had it for something here recently. and it was very roasty, but it can kind of trick you into thinking that's from the barrel, but the actual wine that we were drinking had no time in oak. So we knew that it was from the Syrah. And it does give you that kind of, it's almost smoky, it approaches smoky, but it's more of a roasted, and that's a signature of Syrah. And, it's kind of neat because it's like one of those grapes that can get barrel-like flavors, or flavors and smells we associate with barrels, but it just naturally comes from this grape. And this one actually spends some time in American oak, but I want to be clear, this is a neutral oak, meaning the flavors of toast have already gone from that barrel. That means they're probably 4 years or older.
Yeah.
But I think it's really cool that they're using American oak in South Africa.
Well, and it is cool. And what you're telling me that this is hand-picked grapes?
Indeed.
See, yes. I think they get the flavor from having their vineyards beside their big barbecue pit.
Oh, yeah. Probably.
Where they just, when they're at harvest time, they put them...
They're partying.
Just put them right over the thing before they go in, but...
It's absolutely delicious. Now, this is a typical weight for me when I think of the weight of this wine. I always find it South African Shiraz/Syrah. They tend to have like a wider body in the middle. They're not as dense as you would expect from France.
It's not fruity like a French Syrah.
Right, but it's really, but it's lovely. I like that. So it's almost better for food. But the interesting thing about this wine is how long the finish is.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the way it is super long finish. And it doesn't change a lot on your palate over time like a lot of wines will do.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's consistent.
The French Syrah, the Australian Shiraz, huge fruit, they're going to change a lot, on different points of entry and settleness. And this is just really consistent. And I could,
I can just drink that by itself without food, mm-hmm. But it's certainly a food wine.
Well, and it's not going to be an obstacle to almost anything.
Right.
So, I mean, you could just throw a dart with this.
I'm thinking lamb biscuit. That's like so out there. That's like a chef thing.
You woke up this morning thinking about lamb biscuits.
We, as chefs, you do all these carving stations in country clubs and stuff, and there's usually, it's like Easter, you'll have a lamb carving station. And some of my fondest snacks, which are
the lamb biscuits.
It's a little Dijon on a Schubert with some leg of lamb.
A little leg of lamb.
And I think this right here,
it would be perfect.
Oh my God.
So on Thursday afternoons, I think sometimes Ed will come back and we haven't really talked a lot about the wines, and I'm already done. I've already got the tastings ready, and even though I only know a little bit about the wines, he'll come back at like 4:30. We go live in an hour, and he'll say, what this one would really go well with. He'll say something that takes like 3 days to make. And
I just say stuff that comes to my head. I'm not expecting to make that.
It's 4:30.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's lamb biscuit.
If it pops in my head, I just blurt it out.
However, you're in luck.
Well, wait a second.
You're in luck.
Are you going to talk about what you're pairing this with?
I am.
Well, wait a second. We didn't talk about this one.
Well, let's go backwards. Let's do here first.
Okay, we're going to start with the red
because
pairing.
You said lamb biscuit.
No, he's on the lamb.
As luck would have it, I just bought a blend of meat, and it's 33% beef, 33% lamb, 33% veal, and we're making a bolognese.
And 100% yummy.
And so you will actually be having some precious lamb.
So we're having bolognese?